Good morning, folks. So I just wanted to kind of chat with you guys about something that I haven't really ever thought about addressing as a group or as a whole, and that is smoking. So you may see my eyes like doing this little number. It's because I can't really figure out where to look. I think I should look there. Because I turned my phone a different way. So I think that it used to be, I'm almost 39 now. I'll be 39 in a month, which is insane. You're not supposed to be sitting there, actually. I don't want her there. 7, I'm really sorry. Can you get down? This is the no dog couch. Get down, Pumpkin. Come on. Come on. I know, baby. Come on, get down. Well, come on, let's go over here on the dog couch. Why have a no dog couch if you're just going to sit on the dog couch so you can sit with your dog? Come on. Okay, sorry about that. Little morning entertainment for you. It's going to mess up the lighting a little bit, but you know, the things we do for our dogs. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about smoking because growing up and through my 20s and even to some extent early 30s, smoking wasn't taboo. It wasn't, no. You're not allowed to move when I come to sit on the stinky dog couch. It wasn't something that people were hiding as much unless it was from their parents. You know, like it was the cool thing to do. So I just thought, you know, some people know my smoking story and others don't. So I figured it might be beneficial if people knew the whole start to finish story of cigarettes. How I started, how I loved them, and how I quit, and how I still want one. So when I was 11 years old, my best friend, her name is Shelly. She's actually in this group. She doesn't participate much. She was, really? 11, 12, 13. She was 14. Now, you know, 3 years isn't much difference. But then your best friend being 14 when you're 11 was a big difference. And to me, kind of made me feel like a badass that my best friend was in high school and shit. But anyway, she started smoking. And I did blame it on her for a long time. But that was before I realized I had to take ownership of my own issues. So I'm not blaming her, I'm just telling the story. So she started smoking, and at the time, my parents, both of them smoked. Almost everybody I knew, except for her parents, smoked. I really grew up thinking that smoking cigarettes was a part of being a human being, same as drinking Cokes or Pepsis. Same as, you know, it seemed like I thought it was what people were supposed to do because my parents, being the non-hypocrites that they were and are, never, they said they shouldn't, I think, maybe, but they never said don't ever smoke. Like, they didn't feel like they had any room to talk if they were smoking themselves. And you may notice this is not bee juice. This is alien piss. Something Terry bought. So anyway, she started smoking. I need to make this not so long. I was a latchkey kid as well as her, and so we would come home from school, you know, at different times because we went to different schools. But I would come home and I'd be completely alone. I didn't have siblings, so I would watch TV, eat potato chips, and watch Punky Brewster or whatever I was watching on TV, and she would bring the cigarettes. The first time I smoked, I did inhale because who wants to inhale that bullshit? Your body naturally just says screw you. So she was like, if you don't start inhaling, I'm just not going to give you any more. So then I started inhaling, and then it turned into this fun thing that we did. We'd sneak in the alley and smoke because we had an alley behind my house, and we'd smoke on the back porch, and I always lied and told my parents it was her. So yeah, that's how it started. And then it just kind of escalated from there. Back then, in those days, there were little convenience stores around East Nashville that would sell us cigarettes. All we had to do was just write a little fake note that was from our parents and sign it and said, hey, Blakely's buying cigarettes for me today, and they would sell them to us. Seriously. So, anyway, fast forward, I mean, I never even tried to stop smoking. I smoked all through high school, all through middle, all through junior high, all through my 20s. I tried to stop smoking when I was 24. So I didn't play sports. I had no fitness in my life until I hit my 20s because I started wanting to quit smoking. So at that point, my dad had quit. My mom had as well, I think, at that time. And so I started doing sit-ups in the doctor's office where I worked on my 15-minute breaks because that was when it was hard for me. That's really when I wanted to smoke, was when I was around my friends. So I would do sit-ups. And the way fitness happened, this isn't my fitness story, this is my smoking story, but the way fitness happened was because of those sit-ups. My dad one day was like, it'd be really awesome if we could see the abs that you're starting to build underneath there. So I started, walking and running, and that kind of just escalated from there. Well, I did quit. I think I might have quit for like 2 or 3 months. I can't remember. And I think what triggered me so on my breaks, I would do sit-ups, and then I'd come home and I'd run or walk really then and stuff like that. Whatever I could do to stay busy to distract myself from smoking. But back then I was still a weed smoker. Not quite as heavy because I was living by myself. I had just gotten out of a pretty rough relationship and I was making $8 an hour and renting a duplex by myself. So buying it all the time was just not going to happen. But when I had it, I would smoke it instead of cigarettes to help me. And it did. It really helped. But what I didn't realize is I was just replacing a bad habit with a bad habit, especially when it comes to smoking. So anyways, if you hear background, that's Mom shuffling around in the kitchen, so no worries. She knows all these stories. You don't have to worry. I am almost 40. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, fast forward to when I started to realize I could still work out and smoke cigarettes. And the way that happened is drinking. Of course, I would be quit, I'd go out, I'd drink, and I'd immediately want a cigarette. It was just hand in hand. So, it would just start back to where I would smoke. But I quickly learned that if I didn't smoke during the day, because I was working out at night after work then, that I would be able to get my workout in, whatever it was, and be fine, and then just smoke for the rest of the night after. So it did lessen how much I was smoking for a while, but then it turned into, I learned that if I smoked on my first work break and then didn't for the afternoon and then worked out, and then it got to where, well, I can smoke all day here and there as long as I don't smoke right before my workout. And what was crazy about it, and kind of what the point of this video is it got to my new normal. Like, I just thought that cardio was that hard, or running was that hard, or breathing was that hard, or singing was that hard, because it was normal for me for it to be that hard, if that makes sense. Like, the way your breathing felt and your body felt, and I'm saying my skin looked, the way I got sick every season, the way all of bronchitis, even now I can struggle with bronchitis. That's an issue that never really goes away if you've ever had it and smoked. All that stuff just became normal, and that really didn't click for me until recently, and I'll explain that. So anyway, so I kept on smoking until the age of 34, when I finally, so I got certified to teach group fitness when I was like 32. But I never had the balls to actually go out and teach. I was terrified. So when I was 34, I had an opportunity to get certified in Turbo Kick, which gave me the hands-on experience to give me more confidence. And I had a coworker, her name was Erica, that was like, hey, you need to stop wasting this. This is your dream. You need to go for it. What's the worst that could happen? You could die. That's the worst thing that could ever happen to you, right? You could die. And yeah. And she's like, is this going to kill you? I'm like, no. She said, then go teach it. So Erica, if y'all don't know her story, was dying when she said that to me. When someone who's legit dying, like there's no denying that fact, says that to you, you go fucking do what she says. So we worked a lot of overnights together, just me and her. And she convinced me one night to apply for a job, and the next day I was teaching. So then, of course, the obvious step for me next was like, you can't talk and work out at the same time if you're smoking cigarettes. It's not going to happen. So I had to quit. And even that, I was like, okay. So it got to where I was quit, but if I drank, because I still drank back then, I was going to smoke. Or if it was a really stressful work shift, I was going to smoke. I had a lot of people that I worked with that smoked at that time, so I would bum from them, which I hated doing. I hated doing that. So then I would buy them cigarettes. But anyway, so one day she looked me dead in the face, Erica, and said, listen, I have lung cancer. I'm dying from lung cancer. I've never smoked a cigarette in my life. You are asking to die. I did not ask for it. So it woke me up, and I made a commitment, and it was in January of that year, and I don't remember which year it was. What was it? I think it was 2013. This is 2000, yeah, 2013. So what I did was, because I was going to California, y'all hear that? I was going to California and with my friend Corey, who y'all met, a lot of y'all know, and she was one of my smoking buddies. And I knew we would be drinking a lot. Point made. Because she, that's just what we did. And she smokes menthol, which is what I liked. And so Erica, knowing that she would be working nights, I was like, listen, I'm going to be calling you. I'm going to be texting you. I'm going to be needing you. I might be calling you drunk. And she was like, that's cool. Why don't you set your screensaver to my face? So I did that on my phone. Proud to say I only had to call her one time. I was really wanting one, but I never smoked. And I have had, since then, I did quit. Since then, I have smoked maybe 2 or 3 times in those 5 years I've had a cigarette. I can think of one maybe at work during a particular stressful time, and then I still drink after that for a while. So a couple of cigarettes, or even cigars. When I was drunk, sometimes you would just forget you quit. But other than that, I haven't touched them. And she did pass that same year in July. I always credit her for giving me the balls to chase my dreams and also to save my life, in my opinion. So anyway, my point. Once I got away from smoking, my fitness level went to another level because I was able to work harder. I'm going to use Jamie Baber as an example because I can remember her when, I think it was Curves. She had joined years and years ago, and you had to stay at a certain heart rate. And because of her smoking, she could only go so hard. She doesn't smoke anymore. She quit long before I did. Disclaimer. She could only go so hard because the smoking affected her heart rate so much. So my fitness level went to like the nth degree to me. Like, it was insane how much harder I could work, how I could teach in class, how I could speak to people, the clearness of my voice just on a day-to-day basis, and teaching in general because, you're yelling. I used to be able to sing. I cannot sing anymore. And I know that's from years of smoking. 20 plus teaching and yelling. So anyway, my point, I continued to smoke weed for a very long time. So that was 2013, 14, 15. I started to slow down in 15 and 16. And then I quit when I went sober. And then I convinced myself it was okay to smoke weed. It started back and then quit and started back. My point with that, now quit for good. And my point is, with smoking weed, I I had somehow convinced myself that I was not, it wasn't going to affect me in my breathing. It wasn't until this last time, meaning last year. So I did the ultimate reset last year. I quit smoking weed and for months, and then I was like, fine, ain't nothing wrong with smoking weed. And I still feel that way mostly. I don't feel like smoking weed is bad for you, and as a every now and then random fun time social thing. That's just my belief. But Blakely doesn't know how to do anything as a random fun time social thing ever. I start just going day to day, and I know why, and I'll tell you that in a second. But it was then when I picked it back up that it was like, I can't fucking breathe. My lips would turn blue during workouts. I wasn't teaching anymore, so it didn't matter on that level. And then, of course, I was like, this smoking weed is, they're not lying. It's just as bad as cigarettes, if not worse. And I realized then that when you're smoking something, you're inhaling something into your lungs, that breathing pattern becomes your new normal, regardless of if it's cigarettes or weed. So, I forgot what I was going to say about it being me not being able to do anything in moderation. I can't remember. Whatever, what my point of the video anyway. My point of the video is this. If you are still a smoker and not telling people, which is possible, whether it's me, your coach, or maybe you're not even, this is just your fit fam and you have a trainer on your own, or you're going to group fitness, it actually is important. It is even more important the older we get. And the reason why I'm saying that is, like, you heard my mom. She has COPD. She says she doesn't have emphysema. I thought the doctor said she has emphysema. I don't know. She's not oxygen dependent. But we discovered it because when I first became a personal trainer, I was training her and her lips were turning blue. Now we know, just don't cardio. You know, she can lift weights and do things like that. But even then, extreme temperatures, either too cold or too hot, will throw her into a coughing fit. She doesn't go to movies anymore because, I'm going to talk quieter, I hope you can hear me, because she coughs in the middle of them and everybody thinks she's sick. We go to restaurants to eat if she has a coughing fit. People literally start to freak out and move away from her because they think she's got something they're going to catch. She doesn't like going around Terry's family because her coughing embarrasses her, because it makes her fart. I'm just being real to y'all. It has affected her day-to-day life because she is embarrassed by it. I know that we look at her age as far away because she's 75, you know, and I'm almost 40. Most of y'all are around my age or younger. Not many of you are older than me. So we don't really see that as today until I hung out with Terry's boss a couple weekends ago, who's 35, who still smokes and has been diagnosed with COPD. So I'm going to use Natalie here. Actually, I'm going to talk about a couple people. That's funny. My alarm went off and his phone alarm went off at the same time. Anyway, there's me. Who else? Jamie. I'm trying to think of all the people. I had this list in my head that I know have quit smoking that's in this group. Tracy, my best friend, smoked, although she was never a real smoker in her defense. Who else in this group do I know has quit smoking that used to? I don't even know. If you watch this video, because it's gone on way too long at this point, and you used to smoke and you quit, raise your hand and say me and share how you quit. But I'm going to use Natalie as an example really quick. When she and I first started working together, she was still a smoker, and I did not want her to quit yet because she was embarking on a journey of fitness and nutrition. And I said, if you try to quit all at once, you're going to just throw your hands up and give up on all of it. And I said, if you continue with your fitness and nutrition journey, quitting smoking will come naturally. And it's exactly what happened, and she quit. So my point to you, though, is if you have been working on your fitness and nutrition journey for a while and you are still smoking, it may be time to kick that habit because it is deadly. It is really bad, and it's disgusting. Terry still smokes. I hate it. hate it. And he's 10 years younger than me. And I tell him all the time that he's going to die before me because he smokes. But anyway, I hope I hope this video was not too boring for you and you found it beneficial. I know I don't need to go into all the harmful side effects of smoking. That wasn't my point. My point was to tell you my story, and if you need help with quitting smoking, reach out to me, because maybe I could help, or Natalie, or Jamie, or whoever else I can't think of right now that I know quit. Love you guys.